Hello F1 fans, and welcome to another ZMTD video. Probably going to be bad like the rest of mine. But anyway, this is a guide to F1 2016. I'm doing this because some of my mates are getting the game so we can do this championship. It was originally just going to be me and El Chief, but it would seem a little bit boring because it's just two people. Anyway, this is just a guide to the game. The little bits of ins and outs to the beginners that they probably might not have known, such as DDP Gaming and Scorps. But to start off with, we've got tyre compounds. So there's there's 7 different types of Formula 1 tyres. There's 5 dry compounds, which and 2 which are used for wet weather. So and they've got chunky treads, and unlike the dry ones, which the wet ones, the blue ones, can move about 85 litres of water a second, whereas the intermediates are used for drizzly rain and little puddles or damp conditions. The 5 dry ones or slick ones go from ultra soft, super soft, medium and hard. Softer tyres provide much more grip, but harder the tyre, longer they last. In a weekend, drivers get 13 tyres and have to choose from 3 different compounds, and they must use at least 2 of the dry compounds in a race, or the wet ones. Strategies can include changing to a different tyre within a race at any time given to give drivers a chance to get fresher tyres to increase their lap time to overtake a rival that is ahead of them, which is known as uppercutting. So now on to Formula 1 flags. Some of these you might be familiar with. But to start off with is the finishing flag, which is the most rewarding one. Everyone likes seeing it at the end of a qualifying and a race. But the difference between a race and the qualifying finishing flag is that the qualifying is over and you cannot start a new lap, but the lap you have just completed will be counted. Next, we move on to a very, very rare flag, the red flag, which indicates the session is currently off and it's stopped, usually due to undrivable weather conditions.
And the car goes off! Same car's off, race is over!
Or a huge amount of debris on the racetrack that needs clearing away, that can be a huge danger to many other drivers, or that there's been a huge collision within drivers. Now on to one of the most common flags you will probably almost recognise straight away, is the yellow flag, which indicates that a racer, or there's debris in the sector that is upcoming, or in the sector that driver is in. This could be from a car, debris that's could been from a previous accident, and this is shown by 1 yellow flag. But if there is 2 yellow flags being waved, the driver is meant to be aware to get ready to stop, probably from a collision or crash. Now on to the green flag, which basically just means going back to normal racing speeds, back to normal racing. Whereas the black and white flag is basically a warning to drivers, which basically means it's unsportsmanlike behaviour going on, such as blocking and hitting people, or cutting the corner. Usually you're given a warning, or it's a small time penalty of some sort, or stop and go, it depends really. And then for the full-on effect, it's a full black flag, which is a disqualification from the race, and you have to return to the pits and you're out of the race, so you don't get any points whatsoever. Now on to setups. These have 5 basic pre-built ones. There's maximum downforce, which gives you going around corners at a faster speed, such as like Monaco. That's a good thing. While but it has increased drag, such as like tracks like Monaco, which have a lot of is generally just straight. You will not be able to get up to that higher speeds as other cars who have a higher top speed. Balanced is a little bit of both. It's good. It's both balanced as in the name, but then you're going up to more maximum top speed, which is less cornering capability. You have to go around it slower, but the acceleration and maximum top speed is really increased. So Monza is definitely one to go for that. You can go in more depth and detail inside the setups by like pressing X or I think it's like A or something, or B on the Xbox controller. And it explains with a little guide. With all these, especially the setups, you can do this in the practice sessions or time trials to find your best mix or setup for the race. But now we're on to the racing. Now, a little tip for the start of the race, I'd say go for manual starts. Be wary to not jump the starting line, otherwise you usually get a drive-through penalty. But you can shoot off the line if you get the revs perfectly right, but you also can bog down. So it's a little bit risky, but it's much more better. And just remember that races aren't usually won by the grids, but they can be lost due to like crashes at the very start and races that are other cars ahead of you getting away. As I mentioned earlier in the tyre section, uppercutting is a good thing. Your team will usually ask you if you want to do it, because they'll ask you to change strategy. So be wary for that. That's usually a good idea, but sometimes it can be risky as they can get it wrong. But it's always up to you. You've got a strategy that you can stick to, and if you feel like that is what you wanted to do and it's the best option, by all means stick with that. Now, I can't stress enough that consistency has got to be the main key in Formula 1. This includes hitting apexes going around corners, from going from the outside towards going on to hitting the apex on the inside and then coming out on the outside, and maximising the speed coming out of it going onto a straight. This also means tyre consistency with tyre wear and tyre grip. You need to make use of the track, not going on the marbles, as it's called, like the worn out tyres, because grip will be affected, but not necessarily tyre wear. Making use of DRS zones to increase your speeds on straights within races, and a little tactic I like to use is called the dummy. You move in towards the inside of a racer, they will try to block you, but you can then do a second move, and they are not allowed to do that, otherwise it is unsportsmanship. You can move onto the outside and get a better hit on the apex while they're on the inside, making them almost possibly go off the track, losing much more speed when they're coming out the corner, and giving you that slight extra advantage on speed coming out the apex, and possibly even overtaking them later on if they were successful blocking you then. Thank you for watching this quick little guide. I hope you might have learnt a little bit, or might increase your driving skills. But I'm going to be doing a season update, or like the plan on what is going to happen with this. I'm going to try and make it as consistent as possible and get it up and running as soon as possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little guide.